Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Well, hello, everybody, in the words of RuPaul. And welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm your host, Chris Avalon, and welcome to the most opinionated and unapologetic talk show currently on the internet. Chris Avalon Unfiltered, basically, if this is you guys tuning in for the first time, is a show where we dive into the juiciest headlines of entertainment, pop culture, and sometimes we get a little political. So, in the meantime, grab yourselves a drink, a snack, or whatever is going to keep you guys feeling a little nice and cozy, and sit back and relax and watch this good old show as we get into this here gig. Now, I should also point out before we sip on these latest trending hot topics, be sure to smash that like, subscribe button down below so that way we can get that algorithm and stuff going. And yeah, follow all my social media platforms, which you will also see down below. And also, yes, give a shout out to Ashley Breed for producing the beats, me for writing the lyrics, and David Laugh for recording all the footage and stuff for me while, that we put together and all that good stuff. So yes, that was us for that whole show situation. I see we got some people in the building already. Hey, Sailor Mermaid girl. You know what I've been noticing, and I actually like, because I was wondering in the beginning, I was like, when you're set to go live on YouTube and stuff, I was like, what about the notifications of letting people know that your show is about to go live at a certain time? And then I look on YouTube, it says 7:43. I was going to be going live with the show. And lo and behold, we live. Oh, yeah, my screen's looking a little crazy. I don't know what happened, but my camera, just for some reason, my webcam will not work with my computer. So I need to figure out what's going on with that. But in the meantime, so I'm just using my laptop screen again. But in the meantime, I don't want to bore y'all with all that mess. We have a lot of topics to get into today. We're going to be talking about this drama that's going on with SAG-AFTRA because they just went on strike a couple of hours ago. It's a hot mess. So writers are on strike, actors are on strike. Hollywood is shut down, bitch. And yeah, we got the Emmy nominations. And my question is going to be, when we talk about the Emmy nominations, is there a reason to celebrate? Are we even going to have an Emmys? Because you need actors to show up at these events. And as long as this strike lasts, we probably not going to be getting no award show. So what's the future hold for, the Emmy Awards? I don't think anybody was really thinking about that. We're also going to, we're going to talk about the Emmy nominations, the latest on Madonna, because last week we talked about her was, we didn't hear nothing from her. Now she's spoken out, and I'll give my thoughts on that. I also got some more tea on Ricky Martin's divorce with Jwan, Yosef, and what may have transpired with that. Also, we're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They resumed production due to all the drama going on between Kyle and Mauricio. And yeah, we have that. We're going to talk about Wendy Williams, Tori Spelling, Britney, and some drag race stuff. So we got a lot, all that and a whole lot more. But so without further ado, let's get into some things. There are some things I want to address before we get to the main topics. Okay, so earlier today, because it wasn't just the writer strike thing that happened. Hold on, because I also see my thing showing in the background too. Okay. Oh, you can see my little screen thingy. I'm trying to. That's my other ring light that I have. I got multiple ring lights, child. But anyway, so what had happened I want to talk about is, so Troye Sivan dropped a new single today, and he revealed that he has a new album coming out called Something to Give Each Other. It's his third studio album. He released a new song called Rush, which I believe is a play on Papa's. But he went, because he got the little the little electrical, what is it, the Thunderbolt, to the red Thunderbolt. I'm like, that's code for Papa's, child. But yeah, this will be his first album, new material since Bloom in 2018. I heard the song earlier today. I saw the video. The video is very unapologetically gay. And he basically said that rushes the feeling of kissing a sweaty stranger on the dance floor, a 2 hour date that turned into a weekend, a crush, a winter, a summer, party after party after party after party. All my experiences from a chapter where I feel confident, free, and liberated, independent, yet somehow the most connected to the music and community around me. So yeah, the video features guys in jock straps, dudes making out with each other, a lot of drinking, some fierce choreography, lots of simulated sex. Child, the video was everything. But then what irritated me about that was that I saw people in the comments, oh, but y'all could like Troye Sivan, but y'all don't be sowing that same energy to Sam Smith. And I'm like, first of all, they're two different artists. Just because they're both white and queer don't necessarily mean they all under the same umbrella. And number one, I actually like Troye Sivan more so than I like Sam Smith, and it is not due to because people always be why because they're fat or they're no. That's when people automatically jump to that, I'm like, okay, so that's your cross to bear, that's your situation, that's you just trying to jump and use that as an excuse. But I'm just like, okay, so that's what you're going at. I never said that, but that's what you're projecting. So I just feel like Sam Smith, this era that they're doing, it just doesn't feel authentic to me. So that's why I'm not really feeling what Sam Smith's doing. I heard a couple of songs off the new album. It just didn't grab me. And I see all the little shenanigans that they're doing on their tour, bending over, having dudes hit it, looking like they hit it from the back. And you trying to do all this salacious, scandalous stuff. And it's like, girl, this just feels so put on and fake and just like a ruse, and I'm just not buying what you're selling. Whereas with Troye Sivan, he's young, he's clearly a sexual being, and I'm sure that we're all sexual beings. We all fornicate, child, but I'm just not buying this from. It's just like Sam Smith is trying really hard to be out there and vulgar and like just really putting it on, and it just don't feel authentic. When he was doing when they were doing dance music, I was living for when you did the stuff with Disclosure and all the other stuff. I was feeling that, but now it's like he trying to move beyond the fact of the whole Adele comparisons and not being like that other, was it like this crooning lounge singer or whatever the case is. So I'm like, it's whatever. But I like the choice of on. So I saw people trying to throw shade at the track, but I'm like, somebody, oh, it's just as bland as a Sam. No, it's not. It's a cute dance number. And look, even Jessie Ware gave her stamp of approval on it. I'm like, well, look, Jessie Ware's new album is fierce, and her last album was fierce. So if she likes what Troye Sivan is putting out there, then I'm here for it. So y'all can hate all y'all want. I just hate when these vanilla ass motherfuckers be trying to act like y'all know what dance music is, but y'all sitting up there eating what that vapid 2.5 minute bullshit that what the hell is that their partner came out with, Kim Petras. In the beginning I was like, oh yeah, this album is everything. And now I barely listen to it because I'm like, these songs are so not memorable. That Ava Max, BB Rexa, a lot of these girls trying to put out these songs with these 808 beats and this, that, and the third, but it's just no substance within the song. But the Troye Sivan song, I definitely was feeling it in my spirit. So he did work with Oscar Gores, who has collaborated with Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, and Sam Smith, speaking of which. Ian Kirkpatrick, which I'm very familiar with that name, who's worked with Dula Peep and Britney Spears. Leland, who y'all know have seen all over RuPaul's Drag Race, but he's worked with Selena Gomez and Ava Max, who just brought up, and Stylist Fuego, Khalid, and Imagine Dragons. So, it's definitely going to be a lot of bops on this album, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. So, shout out to Troye Sivan. Now, another thing I wanted to address too, because I wasn't really thinking about it in the beginning, we need to talk about Jamie Foxx. But before we do that, let's get to what Sailor Mermaid said. He said, I'm just tired of these artists like Sam Smith trying too hard and giving lack of performance. Like, get into an actual choreography class. That part. But even if you're not going to do choreography, well, at least work with someone who can teach you how to move on stage and be comfortable and confident. Like, to me, if you're going to do any kind of thing where you're selling sex or you're being a sexual being, as an artist, I always feel like you need to sell what you're trying to give out. So if I'm doing an album that's giving you very much like Madonna's erotica, you better believe I'm a channel Dita, the dominatrix character that she created in that whole era. So you have to sell people on what it is that you're doing. If you don't believe in the era that you're trying to convey to an audience for some coins and for them to buy tickets to your tour, then if you don't believe it, then why, as I, the consumer, would believe what it is that you're trying to put out there in the universe? If you don't believe it, then I can't believe it. And the artist has to believe it first before the consumer believes it. But that's another thing too. See, a lot of these people want to sit up here and try to call Madonna old and put out the pasture and all this other shit. But it's like, hello, there's a reason why these particular icons have lasted the way as long as they've lasted, is because they put in the work. Look, damn near Madonna put in so much work into this tour, damn near killed her. Quiet as it's kept. But anyway, let's get to the Jamie Foxx thing. So Jamie Foxx, has been spotted around production. I'm in a group chat with my producing partner and his partner, real life partner. Hey DJ, he basically, he's always sending me some stuff that, the one thing is I'd be so busy with stuff that I'm glad that I have people besides my little group chat. I have Robert, I have so many other people who will send me stuff all the time in my messages, in group chats, and etc. They always keep me up to date of what's going on with a lot of things, even though sometimes I'll be like, I already know. And I don't want to be like, yeah, I know. I don't want to always sound like a know-it-all. So sometimes I just don't say shit. I'll be like, let me just look at it. Even though I already seen it like 2 hours ago. I'm going to just be like, yeah, I'll let y'all think that you said it. Because I don't always want to come across like a damn know-it-all. So it sent me this thing about Jamie Foxx, and I'm like, that shit is fake. First of all, I thought like that was sent out months ago and stuff, but apparently it wasn't fake. It was a recent photo of him on a boat. And I'm like, that shit's probably fake. Because first of all, we ain't heard nothing about Jamie Foxx in a minute. His teammates said nothing, but yet and still they asking us for thoughts and damn prayers. Like we just giving that shit out like it's the bread. If you Roman Catholic, like they give out the bread and wine when you receiving the body and blood of Christ, they just thinking we just giving out prayers like that. And I'm like, first of all, sir, I don't just be giving out thoughts and prayers for shits and giggles. Like, I need to know what the situation is. And the overall frustration that I've had with Jamie Foxx's camp is that, so y'all ask for thoughts and prayers. The daughter out here saying one thing, there's conflicting reports around with certain things, and then all of a sudden you just pop up out of place. You saving pocketbooks. You out here like you Captain Save a Ho, you saving pocketbooks. Then we see you doing golf, then we see you doing pickleball. First of all, I didn't know what the fuck pickleball was until today. I had a conversation because I went out like with my parents earlier. So I was having a conversation with my dad at a diner, and he was literally explaining to me, I'm like, what the hell is pickleball? Because all of a sudden I'm hearing people talking about pickleball, this, that, and the third. So basically it is a cross between tennis and freaking ping pong. So it's like, it's an indoor situation, like you play it indoors. They have a little net. It's a small little racket, like almost the size of like a ping pong thingy. I mean, a ping pong paddle, but a little bigger. And the ball is not as heavy as like a regular, tennis ball. So that's basically what pickleball is. It's a cross, like literally is a cross between ping pong and tennis. It's just like in the middle. So like the grandmother is tennis, pickleball is the mother, and ping pong is the grandbaby. So it's kind of like that in the middle. I'm like, chill. But this was I'd be feeling like it is like what production said. It just feel like some PR bullshit. So y'all sticking him out there and being like, oh yeah, he's fine and this, that, and the third, but you're not telling us what's the tea. And I'm not saying you need to violate all HIPAA laws and tell us and like screenshot his entire medical record and put it up, like send it to TMZ, because TMZ love digging up shit, attorney paperwork and divorce papers and all that crap. Nobody said that you had to go and send a nurse in to violate every HIPAA law possible, screenshot his damn medical records and put it up on TMZ. Nobody said all of that. However, what you could do is give us like a little press conference. Jamie could go online, post a little Instagram being like, thank you for your thoughts and prayers. I'm good. I'm working on getting better. I had a little situation, but it's things are all good now. Ain't said nothing. Just popped out of nowhere, waving like he, running for damn president on a goddamn yacht, waving to the people, or popping up out in public, playing golf and all this other stuff. Like nothing happened. Like to me, it's like you playing in my face, and I don't like that. Like, don't ask my thoughts and prayers, and you want to sit and play in my face. But with this recent report that came out today, it said that, according to New York Daily News, despite appearing in public in Chicago over the weekend for the first time in months and even helping a woman find her lost purse, see, I told you, the 55-year-old actor is still not 100%, according to a new report from Us Weekly. Jamie is doing so much better than he's starting to feel like himself again. He's not 100% and is still taking things easy, but he's definitely on the road to recovery. The Oscar winner is surrounded by friends and family who are acting as a support system, but the actor will get back to work after he fully recuperates. Similar reports of Foxx being on the mend have come out this month, including one from John Boyega, Foxx's co-star in The Clone Tyrone. You better clone Tyrone. I don't know why I wanted to do that, but for some reason it looked like that's what it was. They called for me to sing they cloned Tyrone, who said Foxx was all good and would reappear soon. Foxx was hospitalized in April after suffering a medical complication, daughter Corinne Foxx said at the time. Luckily, due to a quick action and great care, he is already on his way to recovery. Okay, whatever that means, because y'all still ain't tell us what the hell's going on. We know how beloved he is and appreciate your prayers. But if you know that we're beloved, why haven't you really said anything and told us? But we've had other people who have come out and let things slip, like Mike Tyson, who is basically set to play, Jamie Foxx said to play Mike Tyson in an upcoming biopic. And Mike Tyson appeared on an episode of the PBD podcast in May and said that Jamie Foxx suffered a stroke. But then he said, I have no idea what happened to him. If we don't know about it by now, they don't want us to know. Which is quite okay. Like, yeah, you didn't want us to know, but then you're going to put something out there asking for our thoughts and prayers. And it's like, it don't work that way. You don't get to reap the benefits of Hollywood. And then when this is like what I always say, when things is going great, y'all want to reap all the benefits and this, that, and the third. But when shit goes left, all of a sudden y'all want privacy. You can get privacy to a point. But like I said, we need to know what's going on. And on top of that, he has a documentary that he's working on about Luther Vandross with Colin Firth, who's also supposed to be producing as well. So it said that Foxx's Foxhole Productions, their first Rain Dog Films, have joined forces to produce the first ever doc on the 8-time Grammy winner who died in 2005 at age 54. And this is award-winning filmmaker Dawn Porter is going to be the director, and production is underway. Now, if y'all didn't know, Vandross began his career as a backup singer for Roberta Flack, Chaka Khan, Bette Midler, Dinah Ross, and David Bowie. He released his successful double platinum debut album, Never Too Much, in 1981, and has sold 40 million albums worldwide. Most of his albums achieved platinum or double platinum status, and he scored 5 top 10 hits on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, including Here and Now, Endless Love, and Power of Love, Love Power. He earned 27 top 10 hits on the R&B charts, including 7 number ones, and earned 33 Grammy nominations. Then, child, now Luther, because we don't call him Luther, we call him Luther. Luther? Now, I grew up with Luther Vandross. You know, my mother played him around the house. I had all them vinyls. Luther was very much loved, and yes, I do agree with Foxx where he said Luther is one of our GOATs. He is one of the greatest singers. And a sassy queen, too. And they better address that if you're gonna do a documentary. Like if it's no holds barred, really raw and uncut documentary, y'all really need to go in and let it have. Like we need to go, and they said they're gonna capture the intensely private Grammy-winning artist's passion for music, global rise, and personal struggles. Because they always used to say that whenever Luther Vandross lost weight, he was in love, and when he gained the weight back, it was some shit going down with his relationships. That was always the behind the scenes team. But then what I also heard is that that's not the only thing that's coming out for him. Patrick Ian Polk recently revealed to the Hollywood Reporter that he's working on a Luther Vandross biopic based on Craig Seymour's book, Luther, The Life and Longing of Luther Vandross. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. You know, I live for Patrick Ian Polk. And I read the article. That was a great article. If you ever get a chance, you could basically go on my website and, you know, I put the link for the Hollywood Reporter Patrick Ian Polk interview, because he talks about a lot of things in that interview. Like, he mentions that he's got a couple of things coming out. He's got a play that he's doing that's going to be at the West End called The Day Whitney Houston Died, which is going to be told from the point of view of a gay Whitney Houston fan. So I'm like, ooh, that sounds really interesting. I hope that makes it over to Broadway. Or off Broadway, I don't know. But if they're singing in it, wouldn't it be considered Broadway? I always get confused the difference between Broadway and off Broadway sometimes. But I definitely would want to see that. You know, I've been a fan of Patrick since Punks, or as I like to say, Punks, because you know they always sissies and punks. So I've been a fan of Patrick and Paul since forever, and he basically talks about like how he came up around the same time as Greg Berlanti and Ryan Murphy, and how you've seen where their careers have flourished, whereas he's still having to work twice as hard to get where those men are. Because I agree, they all did come up around the same time. Around the time of like Punks and stuff, you know, Ryan Murphy had Popular and Nip Tuck and all those other shows on, and Greg Berlanti came out with the Broken Hearts Club around the same time as Patrick Ian Polk. And they both basically with the same concept: a group of gay friends navigating life and love and all this other shit in LA. And I guess the difference is because Greg Berlanti had a star-studded cast. He had Dean Cain before he became crazy and fucking problematic and had to move to Florida. You had Timothy Olyphant in there. You had Billy Porter, when nobody knew who Billy Porter was. He was the only black queen up in that movie. Andrew Keegan, who I had the biggest crush on back in the day. So it was a star-studded cast. And oh my God, what was his name from Scrubs with Donald Faison, the white dude? He was in that too. He had blonde hair. So that was like before a lot of the people became famous. There was some that was semi-famous, like we knew Dean Cain and Andrew Keegan, but everybody else was like, their careers was on the rise. I think that was around also the time that he was doing Scream too. But anyway, so yeah, but Punks is like one of my favorite movies. I think you can still watch that on YouTube, because I've been looking for that movie, but I watched it not too long ago on YouTube. But anyway, so Jamie Foxx, I hear what's going on, I understand, but you could at least tell a little something. So that way you can ease your fans' minds and things. Okay, so what is Zach Braff? Thank you. Because I could not remember his damn name. You know, I be forgetting names. That's why I be so glad when I be having people on the live. It's like, oh, I know the names. Thank you. Help me out, child. Okay, so let's get into this Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is currently sitting pretty at 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. I have to say, I love the movie. I've seen it twice. I saw it yesterday and I watched it this morning. Shout out to Tom Cruise. You know, as problematic as he is with a lot of stuff pertaining to Scientology, I can't hate on the man. He is like one of our biggest movie stars that we have left. We don't have many. I mean, we have him, I guess Dwayne Johnson, but Dwayne Johnson's been a little miss more than hit lately. And, you know, Keanu Reeves. But Tom Cruise is like one of our last man standing regarding big action stars. And he, you know, turned it up again as Ethan Hunt. My father has this joke because my actual last name is Hunt. It's not Avalon. In case y'all didn't know that. It's a stage name. He said we related. So, ooh, a mission if I choose to accept it, bitch. But anyway, so this movie, it was like I really had to like focus attention because the plot for the film, it was just a lot going on. But basically, this film is about Ethan and the IMF team have to track down a terrifying new weapon that threatens all of humanity if it falls into the wrong hands. So basically, there's this big ball or whatever. They call it the Entity, which is basically a form of artificial intelligence. And a lot of people from different parts of the world want to get their hands on these two keys so that way they control the Entity. And the Entity, like I was saying, was this form of AI. The two keys are held by two people. So what happens is there's some guys that was on a submarine, an accident happens, the keys get separated, and then they have to find the two keys, and you know, that's basically Ethan Hunt's mission. He has to get his hands on two of the keys. One of the keys is in the hands of Ilsa Ilsa Faust, played by Rebecca Ferguson, who we've seen in the previous two Mission Impossible movies. She was a Ghost Protocol in the last one that came out with Henry Cavill. So she was in both of those. And I actually loved her character because I felt like she was utilized so much in the film and she was like a strong female character. You know, I live for strong women in movies. However, my problem with this film, I felt like she was wasted. I felt like they really didn't utilize her character as much as they could have because I think they were trying to set up the Haley Atwell character, Grace, in this film to be like this bigger piece of the puzzle going forward. And I really wish that, you know, they gave the when Rebecca appears in the film doing her stuff, like the action sequences, all that stuff, she's utilized in that particular part well. But it would have been nice if they could have used her a lot more. And I felt like she kind of fell by the wayside just so that way they could, you know, Ethan could kind of play mentor to this new character, Haley Atwell's character, who plays a thief in the film, who ends up stealing the key from this guy who Ethan is trying to have this conversation with so that way he could buy it off of him. Not buy, but they basically put this counterfeit key on him so he could track down who the person is he's supposed to meet to buy the key off of, so that way he can get the key, put the keys together, and I guess because he wants to kill AI. But the problem with AI is that you can't control something that goes rogue. So this machine goes rogue. It decides to just do whatever it wants. It knows everything about everybody. And Esai Morales comes in, who is someone that plays a part in Ethan's past. Quiet as kept, it felt like they tacked his character on. Even though I live for Esai Morales, I've lived for that man for a long time. And I felt like he hasn't been utilized enough. Like Bad Boys with Sean Penn is like one of my all-time favorite movies of the 80s that he's in. He's like a baby in that film. But that's like a classic film that I absolutely love. But him being in this film, he was basically like a vessel, like a physical vessel for the entity. And the entity was helping, like erasing him, but using him to get around and those other stuff. So he was a cool villain in that part, but I felt like they could have fleshed him out a little bit more too. Sometimes it always felt like y'all thought about the stunts first and then the story second. Because I also noticed in certain sequences, there were like, the action was always on point. The action was very intense, kept me on the edge of my seat, specifically the car chase scene through Italy. And I also loved in the third act when they were on the Orient Express. That whole sequence, shit was crazy. I know everybody was like, the big stunt would have been Tom Cruise riding his his bike off a cliff and then parachuting. I've watched all the behind the scenes of how they did it and how long he spent. Like he spent a whole year perfecting that stunt. But I felt like once we got to the stunt actually happening and we saw it on screen, the way it was edited felt like a disappointment. I don't know what happened because it was like in the previous two movies, Christopher McQuarrie, I felt like his his directing and the way he was shooting and all that stuff, it felt very much like we were in it and it was intense and all this other stuff. But this movie, I don't know, in certain parts it just felt disjointed. Maybe it was because, this movie went through a lot of issues because of COVID and all that other stuff. So I do say I recommend you go see it. Definitely see this film. Pom Clementine, who you know from she played Mantis in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. She was great in this film. I loved her as she was playing an assassin who was trying to get the key and kill Ethan and all this other stuff. Her character and the way her story arc and how they start out one way and ended up another way towards the end of the film. I love what they did with her. And, I love a badass villain, regardless of if it's male, female, whatever the case is. But I always like watching women kicking butt on screen. I don't want to give away too much because I know it just came out yesterday. So I want to give people enough chance to see it. But definitely, it's like, Tom Cruise throws himself he gives 180,000 million %, when it comes to these stunts. I love what he was, the fact that so much work he goes into it. But when they do part 2, because, this is a 2-parter, this is Dead Reckoning Part 1. When Part 2 comes around, I really hope that they step it up and they come out with something. It comes with a cooler conclusion. Like it felt, even when they cut it at the part that they cut it, it did feel like a satisfying ending. But I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with the next one. Whereas I know they were trying to do these Part 1 and Part 2 things, like they did it with Fast X. It felt a little anticlimactic. It was like they all ended it in the wrong spot. Didn't feel satisfying to me. I heard they did the same thing with the new Spider-Man movie, that this is a split in 2-part situation also. So I say all this to say yes. Go see the film. Tom Cruise, as usual, is great as Ethan Hunt. I did like the fact that they were slowly starting to introduce newer members of IMF into the franchise. So sort of who knows down the road, because look, Tom Cruise ain't getting younger. And he did say recently in an interview that he wants to play this character and do Mission Impossible until he's well into Harrison Ford's age. Like he wants to do it into his 80s. I don't know if I want to see an 80-year-old man trying to save the world and jumping off buildings and shit. I don't even know how plausible that would be, or if it's good on your physical being, especially when you're a person of a certain age. I know bodies can't be doing the same things you were doing when you're 20, 30, 40, but if there's a way around it, we'll see. But who knows? He'll probably take more of a mentor role in the future, bring in some younger cast members, and you still will have Ethan at the forefront, and he could do some action stuff, but I don't feel like you need to damn near kill yourself, because it almost starts to feel like, okay, this is some sort of vanity project that you're doing. This is more for vanity purposes and not because you're really trying to satisfy the audience. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say on that. Definitely check it out. And they said that Tom Cruise surprised fans at a movie theater. He was showing up at movie theaters in Miami, Atlanta, Toronto, and DC. And people were watching the movies. He basically just showed. I said, but no, that's cool. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people. I mean, I would do that too. There's a sequence that they de-aged Esai Morales. They did a good job on his de-aging, but I heard that they were gonna do that to Tom Cruise in one of the sequences, because the fact that Esai Morales' character Gabriel and Ethan know each other in their past. They wanted to have them, but I think they just used probably a double to come in and like look over the person's body and this, that, and the third. And they did the de-aging where they were going to make him look young back when he was 1989. But the director said he axed the idea because he said he's suddenly this young person, and I was so distracted by how young they de-aged him. I mean, that would have been cool to see what, like a de-aged Tom Cruise. I mean, that's what, I wonder if that's probably the some of the stuff they fighting about with this whole SAG situation, which let's get into that. We can move on from their reckoning. And let's talk about this WGA. Look, there's been a lot coming out about this. I was trying to figure out how I was going to structure this whole thing regarding the WGA and now SAG-AFTRA. But then SAG-AFTRA came out, and it was just so much. I'm like, my head is spinning trying to keep up with all this stuff, which I'm sure we will be talking about this for weeks to come. So I'm not going to really go and spend like 30 minutes talking about it. But one of the things that disturbed me was when I got this screenshot in the group chat, which irked the shit out of me. So Deadline did an article called Hollywood Studios WGA Strike Endgame is to let writers go broke before resuming talks in the fall. And this is what they said. They said to do so, the studios and the AMPTP believe that by October, most writers will be running out of money after 5 months on the picket lines and no work. The end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses, a studio executive told Deadline. Acknowledging the cold as ice approach, several other sources reiterated the statement. One insider called it a cruel but unnecessary evil. A cruel but necessary evil. Really? So people losing their homes and going home and being homeless and losing everything. That's a cruel but necessary evil for who exactly? For you? Because I keep saying, without writers, y'all don't have a script. Without a script, you don't have actors who can act out what is on the page. Look, as Thelma Hopkins said in an episode of Family Matters, if it ain't on the page, it ain't on the stage. So I don't understand why these people think that that Hollywood can survive without writers. And I don't believe in that. It's not what you deserve is what you negotiate. That's some fucking bullshit. The fact of the matter is, writers, actors, a lot of them, they're part of a union. So they're union reps or their agents, whatever the case is. They're the ones who go in and negotiate. Performers never go in and negotiate their own shit unless you're acting as your own manager and agent and independent. But for the most part, they have people that do that on their behalf. And sometimes, who knows, these agents could probably be lowballing and being like, oh, so and so said that this is the number, you should go with this, and then eventually you'll get this. But for the most part, I do believe that the reason why a lot of the writers are going on strike is because it's streaming. They want residuals for the streaming, and a lot of it, Netflix, all these other streaming services are playing hardball. But I think also, maybe, who knows, writers need to get more realistic and realize that, you know what, streaming is still a relatively new thing. The studios need to figure out how to make the whole thing work in regards of how do we divide this money made from streaming. I don't think they figured that out yet. They go by numbers and algorithms and all this other shit, like how many hours watched. Like whenever I come on here and I talk about, oh, this movie did really well on Netflix because they accumulate how many hours were watched. I'm like, but what if I only watched 10 minutes? Or what if people didn't really watch the whole movie? They only watched part of it. Or like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes, or 20 minutes, or 30 minutes. Like, you're accumulating that as hours watched. So that's what they're counting. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, with writers and actors and then a third, how do you pay them in residuals? So they need to figure all that out, because it's easy to navigate that when, you know, if you do video on demand, you have to order and you have to pretty much pay for that in order to see it. So that way they could accumulate the money there because they see that someone has purchased that. Same thing when you watch shows on television where they have the commercials and sponsors and all that other stuff. They could accumulate things that way. When you buy a box set for a movie, that's, you know, something that was bought. So they can accumulate that. But they haven't figured out a way to accumulate how to pay artists, writers, actors, that sort of thing through the streaming. So they need to figure that out. And so basically they just want everybody to just go broke and be like, you know what, come back with their tail between their legs. Oh, sorry, we made a mistake. So therefore, we want to come crawling back and take whatever scraps you give us. Hell fucking no. And then Bob Iger, child, I was so glad he was coming back to Disney, but you know, as a CEO, because Bob Chapek done sat and fucked up the thing. And now they just basically got Bob Iger coming back, and they just recently announced that 2026 is how long he'll be there. So they need him to stay 3 more years to get Disney back up and running after the mess that they turned that shit into. So they said during an appearance on CNBC's Squawk Box, and then after that, then we're going to talk about the actor strike, because this is the writer strike and the actor strike, and we got a clip of Fran Drescher, who is the CEO of SAG-AFTRA. She came out and she went ham on the industry over their bullshit. So it said during an appearance of CNBC's Squawk Box on Thursday morning, Disney CEO Bob Iger said that the writers and actors unions going on strike in Hollywood are not being realistic with their expectations. Speaking with CNBC's David Faber from the Sun Valley Conference in Idaho, Iger commented on the ongoing Writers Guild of America strike and the imminent decision for SAG-AFTRA to join them. It's very disturbing to me. We've talked about disruptive forces on this business and all the changes we're facing. The recovery from COVID, which is ongoing, it's not completely back. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption. I understand any labor organization's desire to work on behalf of its members to get the most compensation and to be compensated fairly based on the value that they deliver. We managed as an industry to negotiate a very good deal with the Directors Guild that reflects the value that the directors contribute to this great business. We want to do the same thing with the writers, and we like to do the same thing with the actors. There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic, and they're adding to the set of the challenges that this business is already facing, as is, quite frankly, very disruptive. So what is the level of expectations that y'all think that's not realistic? Because I'm saying, if there's no way for you guys to give them money off the back end, like residuals and this, that, and third, which you get way more residuals if you write for network television and that, other, they can accumulate all that. But then when you do a show for, say, Netflix, you get a $4 check or something. Like, I've heard the stories. Why not just give them money up front? Give them bigger writers' rooms. That's what they want. They don't want to be in a walk-in closet cramming 2 people in there and writing a 10-episode series. They want 6 to 7 writers. Pay them the money that you want to pay them, and have them help and do what needs to be done. And then at this point, then y'all need to really sit down as corporations, CEOs, whatever the case may be, and figure out how you're going to pay these artists in residuals. Because what I don't understand is how the hell y'all got money to be paying, you know, these CEOs like a Bob Iger and a Bob Chapek. How can y'all, you know, a pay package? Like I said, in 2022, Iger's total pay package was $15 million. Though Chapek was paid $24.5 million, was at the helm for the majority of last year. After Iger took over again, it was revealed that he has the potential to earn up to $27 million in 2023. His first full year as returned CEO. So CEOs can bag $24.5 million. CEOs can give themselves $100 million in kickbacks, but y'all can't find the money to pay people. All right, it's the same shit that's going on with the Ukraine. Oh, y'all can find billions of dollars and send to them motherfuckers that want to deny black people getting out of the Ukraine because of all the bombings that was going on. Let's not, you know, act brand new with that. Y'all can be racist towards people of color, but Biden can find money to send billions of dollars to them, but y'all can't find money for reparation. It's funny how y'all can find the money when y'all need to. So now we're at a point where actors have officially gone on strike today. I believe Oppenheimer is doing their press run. I just heard Matt Damon and that entire cast walked off the red carpet because once it became official that the writer strike was going on, you cannot appear at any red carpets. You cannot do any kind of interviews. You cannot do auditions, nothing related to the industry. You can't do voiceover work, can't do nothing. So they're all at a standstill right now. And they basically said that the failed negotiations with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers means film and television productions will immediately halt, essentially shutting down Hollywood. So Hollywood is at a standstill right now. And they said that SAG-AFTRA will join up with more than 11,000 already striking film and television writers. So everybody's on the picket line, and this is the first time that we've had a strike in the industry since 1960. Isn't it the same year that West Side Story came out? Bob Iger was trying to retire. I'm reading Sailor Mermaid's thing. Look, Bob Iger was trying to retire, but Bob Chapek done fucked up Disney. Disney abruptly fired him, and they needed somebody to come up in there and clean up the mess. Once they find a viable replacement in 2026, then he'll be able to come in and do whatever. But unfortunately, this is what's happening right now. They don't have many, I guess, CEOs they trust to take over, that has the tenacity to take over and keep a business afloat. But anyway, let's get to this clip of Fran Drescher, and then we will come back with more of my opinion on this whole situation. So roll the clip.
You have to wake up and smell the coffee. We are labor and we stand tall and we demand respect and to be honored for our contribution. You share the wealth because you cannot exist without us. Thank you.
I mean, she's absolutely right. It's like Hollywood cannot function without actors. They cannot function without writers. And they're sitting there like these CEOs, and instead of, you need to see the whole interview. I mean, the whole speech. It's like 6+ minutes. I do have the full speech on my Twitter. I basically what is it? I basically retweeted it. So it's there. And I do agree with, she said, how they plead poverty when they are losing money left and right, when they give $100 million to CEOs. If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines. And that was basically the fear that they had. It's funny how like it was very timely because that was the kind of the same thing that we're talking about in the new Mission Impossible movie. I know people were getting on Fran because she was spotted earlier in the week in Italy with Kim Kardashian. It was probably just a damn photo op. But of course, because people hate Kim so damn much, and she got dragged not too long ago because she was popping up on 57th Street to shoot another tight ass season of American Horror Story, which don't even get me started on Ryan Murphy's tight ass bitching about the fact that, you know, he's got a bunch of projects on the horizon and nothing can get done because of a strike. Well, I guess we're gonna be flooded with a bunch of damn reality shows. So I say all that to say I stand with, you know, the writers. I did see there was, I guess I didn't. Oh yeah, I did. So apparently they said that to conclude with this, because who posted it? Trying to stall while it opens. Deadline says House of the Dragon and Industry will continue UK shoots despite SAG after strike. So while everything else is striking, there's some of the shows are still going you know, as planned. And here's what he said. House of the Dragon and Industry are set to continue shooting in the UK this summer despite the SAG after strike. Though a U.S. program, Game of Thrones prequel House of the Dragon, has a largely British cast working under equity contracts rather than SAG-AFTRA ones. Similarly, fellow HBO show Industry operates under equity rules, and sources close to production say that both shows are moving forward as planned. U.S. actors Mahala Harold and Ken Lung are key cast members in Industry, which is co-production with the BBC. Guidance issued in the past hour informed SAG-AFTRA members working under equity contracts that they should continue to report to work. Whether the cast of the show would want to work under the current conditions isn't known, but the UK has strict anti-trade union laws that do not allow for members to strike in unity with other counterparts in other countries. Industrial relations legislation in the United Kingdom is draconian and often viewed as the most restrictive in the Western world. The convoluted and pernicious hurdles faced by all unions in the United Kingdom are a national disgrace and need urgent reform. The regrettable consequences of this framework is what artists working on in the United Kingdom, whether SAG-AFTRA and or equity members or both, can do may be different from their comrades in the United States and other parts of the world. So I don't know. It's just, this is absolutely insane the way some of these countries work with their whole idea of, you know, operations. I don't know. It's batshit crazy to me. I'm like, oh, I thought I was getting a phone call. But anyway, to me, it's just batshit crazy. It's so much to unpack. I don't even know. I need to read more up on the British law and their whole union and all this stuff. I don't want to really give my opinion on that just yet because I just read that and it's going to probably take me a minute to process. And I don't want to just say a bunch of stuff if I don't have the education and the information to back up my thoughts. So I'm going to hold on to that. And I'm sure when we come back next week with another episode, more will be coming out about this strike. More will be coming out about all this stuff that's transpiring with this. And we'll just be breaking it down. Because, you know, I love Hollywood. It's something I've always been a part of. You know, I'm a writer. I'm an artist. And I stand with the actors. I stand with the writers. And to me, it's like, you don't feel like my art is valid. Because first of all, it takes a human being. Like, you can't rely on AI. And that's another thing that they're afraid of. You can't rely on AI to write scripts. AI is shit. I've seen the chat GPT stuff. It don't make sense. You're going to need a physical being to go in and judge up what of these chat GPT and all these other AI apps have created. So it is what it is. And like I said, this story is not going to go away for a while. And now I'm also realizing is that talk shows could be in danger too, because if actors are on strike, they can't go on talk shows to promote their product. You can't have somebody. You can't. What are you going to do? Just like a 1 hour monologue? I mean, I guess The View could continue with Hot Topics, but unless they're all a part of SAG and the second and the third, I don't think they can work either. I have to look at. I don't think Whoopi can work. because she's an actress. Or maybe it's different when it comes to talk shows. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I'll keep you abreast of the story as it develops. So let's move on to the next topic. And let's talk about the Emmy nominations. I mean, we've got Emmy nominations that were announced yesterday, but now the question remains, is the Emmys gonna happen? Because all the nominees, I mean, this seems like it's gonna be a pretty good season. So I guess we could say congratulations on the order with a big question mark to Dominique Fishback, Tyler James Williams. Dominique Fishback was in Swarm, which is on not Hulu, Amazon Prime. Tyler James Williams, Sheryl Lee Ralph. They're from Abbott Elementary. And then we have, because they're all been nominated for Emmys, as well as White Lotus with 10 nominations, Succession with 27 nominations. That show is done. The Bear, which is like one of my favorite shows on Hulu, got 13 nominations. The Last of Us with 24 nominations. Wednesday got 2 nominations, and more for securing the nominations for the 75th Annual Emmy Awards. Now, Apple TV Plus series Ted Lasso scored 21 noms, made it this year's biggest comedy. Netflix's Dahmer, Monster the Jeffrey Dahmer story, nabbed 13. I wonder if people are still upset over, the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. Roku's Weird, the Al Yankovic story was tops in TV movie with 8. RuPaul's Drag Race grabbed 7 as a top unscripted series. And a huge congratulations to Joel Kim Booster, whose Fire Island was nominated in the Outstanding Television Movie category. The 75th Primetime Emmys will air on September 18th. Okay, so yeah, like I said, if this shit is not done, then there may not be an award show. We'll see. But some of the nominations feels really valid. I wasn't reading all the other websites, but they were talking about, oh, this got snubbed and that got snubbed. First of all, and I also thought about this too. You know what? With this writer's strike and everything happening, at least what can happen is that at least it'll give me the opportunity to catch up on shows that I haven't been able to catch up on because I'm behind on a lot of stuff. So this is the opportunity that I could just start binging a lot of shows that I've missed out on. I mean, I would read you guys all the nominees, but that would be so boring. So you could definitely check it out on my website. I have the full list there, or most of it. But I was trying to look for, so they have Outstanding TV Movie. Dolly Parton's Mountain Magic Christmas. You have Fire Island, Hocus Pocus 2, Prey, and Weird, the Al Yankovic story. There's a lot of them on here that's pretty good. I love Fire Island way more than I like Bros. Hocus Pocus 2 I have not seen, but I heard it was bad. Prey I actually loved. I wanted Prey should have been in the damn movies. That's basically a prequel of stories to Predator. That was a really good one. And I have still yet to see the Weird Al Yankovic movie, which I heard was pretty good. And a phenomenal job was done by Daniel Radcliffe. So I definitely want to get around to checking that out. But if I had a choice based on, I would want Fire Island to win, but I have a feeling it might go to Weird Al Yankovic. Based on the people that are Weird Al and this, that, and that. I have a feeling that's what they'll give it to. Or Dolly Parton, because it's Dolly. But outstanding competition is The Amazing Race, RuPaul's Drag Race, Survivor, Top Chef, and The Voice. It always goes to the same the same 5 every year. And we all know RuPaul's going to win. Or the show. An outstanding host for a reality or competition program is it's basically the cast of Queer Eye. Excuse me. Nicole Byer for Nailed It. Padma Lakshmi for Top Chef, which I heard she was leaving. I have to check that to see if it's true. Amy Poehler and Maya Rudolph for Baking It, and RuPaul for RuPaul's Drag Race. Which we already know is going to go to RuPaul because RuPaul always wins, like I said. But like I said, if you want to go see who was nominated, definitely go check it out. But I guess we could say congratulations, which I thought was a shocker, to Vanderpump Rules, because due to, what happened with Scandival, that whole debacle, the long-running reality show nabbed a few Emmy nominations. The Bravo Unscripted series was nominated for Outstanding Unstructured Reality Program and will face off against fellow 2023 Emmy nominees Deadliest Catch, Life Below Zero, RuPaul's Drag Race Untucked, and Welcome to Wrexham. Vanderpump Rules was also nominated for Picture Editing for an Unstructured Reality Program. Bravo's official Twitter account celebrated Vanderpump Rules' big moment, saying, "We've all been saying this season of hashtag Pump Rules deserves an Emmy, and now it's all happening. Congrats to the whole Vanderpump Rules crew on the show's first Emmy nominations." Now, the series launched in January 2013 as a spinoff to The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Its cast includes Lisa Vanderpump, Lala Kent, James Kennedy, Raquel Leviss, Katie Maloney, Ariana Madix, Tom Sandoval, Tom Schwartz, and Sheena Shea. Now, I remember like season one, it was because Shayna had slept with Eddie Cibrian, and they had Brandy Glanville appear in the episode to like confront her. Well, you slept with my husband. That was everything. And you know what? At one point, Vanderpump Rules wasn't bringing what needed to be brought. So they were on the verge of cancellation. Then Scandal happened and the numbers went through the roof. So here come the Emmy. And I find it interesting that none of the housewives have ever been nominated, but Vanderpump Rules has been nominated. It's quite ironic. So congratulations to all the nominees. We'll see what happens if there's actually going to be an award show, because, you know, with the strike happening, I doubt that it'll happen. Or who knows? Maybe they'll come to negotiations by September. But you know what? Within that point, I'm thinking what's going to happen is Hollywood's still going to be a hot ass mess. They're still going to be trying to come at not only from the strike, but from, you know, what happened with COVID. They're still recovering from that. Okay, so let's talk about Madonna. So the last that we all congregated together, we hadn't heard from Madonna. We didn't know if Madonna was, you know, what was going on with the tour. She was going to resume the tour, which is supposed to kick off this Saturday in Canada. But over the weekend, after she was spotted out and about in Manhattan on Sunday, I believe Monday is when she sent out an official statement. So she finally broke her silence and took to social media to announce that her recent health scare has forced her to postpone the North American leg of her celebration tour. Now, the singer was set to celebrate 4 decades of her career with the Celebration Tour beginning July 15th in Vancouver, Canada, with North American dates following throughout the summer and early fall in Chicago, New York, Miami, Los Angeles, Seattle, Phoenix, Denver, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Boston, Atlanta, Cleveland, Atlanta, and others. On June 24th, Madonna, according to manager Guy Oseary, developed a serious bacterial infection, which led to a several-day stay in the ICU. Her health is improving, however, she is still under medical care. A full recovery is expected. When Oseary made an initial statement following Madonna's hospitalization, he said that plans for the tour were on pause. But then Madonna took to her Instagram on, what was it? I believe Monday, right? And basically said that she, you know, thanked the fans for their positive energy and said that she's on the road to recovery and incredibly grateful for all the blessings in her life. But she said that she had to postpone the tour. She said, "Thank you for your positive energy, prayers and words of healing and encouragement. I have felt your love. I'm on the road to recovery and incredibly grateful for all the blessings in my life. My first thought when I woke up in the hospital was my children. My second thought was that I did not want to disappoint anyone who bought tickets for my tour. I also didn't want to let down the people who worked tirelessly with me over the last few months to create my show. I hate to disappoint anyone. My focus now is my health and getting stronger, and I assure you I'll be back with you as soon as I can. The current plan is to reschedule the North American leg of the tour and begin in October in Europe. I couldn't be more grateful for your care and support. Love, M." So my thoughts on that is, you know, I'm here for what's most important is your health, getting better, so that way you can be strong enough to navigate through this tour. You got 80 something odd dates that you're doing on the tour. Basically, I know people are so quick to think about, oh, I need to get rid of, you know, I need to get a refund for the ticket, this and the third, but they hold on to the tickets. They will value them with the rescheduled date. She's doing, I believe, 4 days in Madison Square Garden, 2 days in the Barclays Center. So everything's going to get rescheduled. And I'm like, yeah, what you need to do is get yourself together work on that. But I noticed a lot of people saying, and I did notice this too, that when they showed a picture of her um in Manhattan with, I guess it was a girl that was her assistant, people noticed that her ass looked a little smaller. So the question remains, did she have a K Michelle moment where there was some type of situation that happened with her booty implants and maybe that caused the infection? Because remember, K Michelle at one point said when she got her ass done, she was getting all kinds of sick and stuff from the butt surgery and whatever they put in her ass, and she had to go and get numerous surgeries to have whatever she had in there removed. So it's like when you put in foreign objects in your body, you know, eventually your body's going to reject it. And I thought it was butt pads in the beginning. But then when I seen like somebody, I'm like, oh no, she actually did go get surgery. It was like, girl, you should have left your butt the way it was. But I think Madonna used to work out so much, all her body was just pure muscle. So she had no fat on her. But yeah, that butt pads look crazy. And I think, well, the butt implants look crazy. And I'm glad if that's true that she had them removed. So I'm thinking, what I'm thinking, because, you know, I still believe that there may have been those, that there's possible accusations that she was getting a little hooked on the prescription medication. But also, I do think that maybe there was the sickness may have come from getting surgery, complications from the the butt surgery. That had to been, you know, that, I don't know. It just seems like that's where everything is kind of pointing to, based on the, you know, you're talking about a bacterial infection that could have come from surgery. So, like I said, Madonna, get better. I'm rooting for you. I hope you know, everything works out in your favor. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to when this tour comes. And you know what? There's a lot of tours that they're talking about that's going around. You know, Madonna is supposed to be going on tour. There's word on the street that Kylie Minogue is about to embark on a tour of her own in Vegas. And I actually hope that that is true, because um I would be excited over that. I did write that article earlier, and they're saying that, because I just want to get to the point of where it is, and then we can move on to this next topic. So, according to Review Journal, this Lightyear singer said to kick off her residency at the Venetian in October. And they said while details are not confirmed, Venetian reps have not returned a request for comment. But Minogue's plans reportedly are to be on stage on the Strip ahead of the F1 Las Vegas Grand Prix in November. And the new enhanced nightclub is reportedly being developed at the Opalon Theater space across from Summit Showroom, which is the former home of Rock of Ages and Blue Man Group. Minogue said to launch headlining entertainment at the venue to be called Voltaire in late October. The vocalist who broke with the Locomotion in 1988 will perform weekends at the new club, and they said is a heightened cabaret concept with a capacity of 1,000 people. Expect refined booths, bottle service with headline quality production technology. And then, you know, her 16th album, Tension, drops worldwide on September 2nd. So Madonna's going on tour, and then we got Kylie Minogue about to do a residency in Vegas. I actually hope she does a small little US tour before she officially does the whole Vegas thing, because I would definitely love to see that. Okay, so we're going to do two more topics, and we're going to take a quick break. So let's talk about Ricky Martin. So after 6 years of marriage, singer Ricky Martin is seeking joint custody of the two children he shares with husband Jwan Yosef. Now, shout out to Hola for this story, because according to court documents obtained by People, it was the singer who filed for divorce last Wednesday, July 5th, before the Superior Court of California, indicating the date of separation as TBD, which basically means to be determined. He also stated the reason for their separation after 6 years: irreconcilable differences. That's what everybody always says, right? Ricky is reportedly seeking joint custody of his two youngest children, 4-year-old Lucia and 3-year-old Ren. He will continue to raise twins Mateo and Valentino, who are 14, as a single parent. The petition also shows Martin to pay spousal support to Yosef, who is 38. The singer has yet to determine the full nature and extent of the assets and separate property obligations of each party, according to court papers, which are based on their prenuptial agreement. Martin also noted that there are no such assets or debts that I am aware of for the court to divide between the two parties. The star of the assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story, will not only lead alimony to Jwan, but will also pay his attorney fees in the divorce proceedings, according to the document. Oh, that's so nice. He's just taking care of everything, because I guess he's like, I got more money than you. I'm the breadwinner. I mean, even though you're an artist, Ricky Martin is Ricky Martin. So he's going to take care of everything. That's cute or whatever. So, people broke the news on July 6th that they were separating, that the Puerto Rican born singer and actor was separating from the Syrian born artist. The ex-couple revealed their decision to end their 6-year marriage with a joint statement, saying that we have decided to end our marriage with love, respect, and dignity of our children, and honoring what we have experienced as a couple all these wonderful years. That's cute and all, but yeah. Oh yeah, so let's get to, I think I talked about last week, but yeah, they met after Ricky slid in his DMs in 2015 on Instagram, and they dated 6 months after meeting in person. They became engaged a year later in 2016 and announced their marriage in 2018. They got married on August 29, 2017, although they always talked about how having a big wedding. But from what I'm hearing, they never had the big wedding. It's probably because of the whole, COVID. But child, the word on the street is Ricky may have been unfaithful. So y'all sit up here talking about irreconcilable differences. The gag is they talking about that international tabloid. They said that the breakup may have transpired because Ricky had become infatuated with adult film star Max Bars, saying he is the actor with whom Ricky Martin is obsessed. Both follow each other in their networks and surely have already contacted, they reported. In addition, problems between the couple began to arise due to constant infidelities of Ricky, allegedly. Among them, his alleged affair with actor Eduardo Verastegui, although the latter now devotes himself to religion and fully rejects homosexuality. Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that. Queen / closet case, because you can't reject something that's in your blood, child. But I don't know. I hope that Ricky Martin wasn't out here cheating. But sometimes the celebrities, they get bored. They travel in the world. You see new coochie, you want some, and child, let me tell you, I did a little Googling schmoogling. And I looked up Max Bars. I went on the Instagram and I went on the Twitter. I gagged at the Twitter. First of all, he's well endowed and he's imported. I like to call men with foreskin imported. I believe Max is 6'4". And child, let me tell you, he comes a lot too. I seen them, it shoots far. I'm like, oh girl, almost hit me in my face through the screen. So I did see a couple of his little clips on Twitter, and Miss Mama's, she definitely talented. She got a lot of meats between the legs. So I could, and he's very good looking too. I'm sure he's like, I think he's in his 20s or something or another. So yeah, I was going to say, if Ricky Martin is hunching a porn star, I could definitely see why he's infatuated with a dude that looks like Max Bars, because he's very attractive. I believe he was born in 98, and I said he's like 6'4" to another. So yeah, it's a sad day to see like Ricky getting a divorce, but I don't know. Ricky always seems like the type to me that has always wanted to play at these whole heteronormative ideas of, I want the family and the kids and this, that, and the other. And he was playing all that up in Mr. Spirituality and all that. And I'm sure all that is true, but I'm sure there's another side to him too. And then I was hearing stories that people saying that, even though we debunked it in the last episode, that they think like his infatuation, the whole drama that happened with the nephew that accused him of sexual assault, that may have transpired, put a strain on their relationship. I've heard reporters and people bringing that up. I don't necessarily know if that to be true. I don't want to kind of put that out in the universe and make that as a thing, but I'm just letting y'all know what the tea is out in these streets. So it's a sad day in gay Hollywood, gay marriage. We divorce just like we can get married. It is what it is, and things just don't work out forever. And it seems like that 6-7 year period is when relationships start to get in this place of like, breaking up. Okay, so let's get to this Real Housewives tea, and then we're gonna take ourselves a break. So Kyle Richards, we already heard about her and Mauricio getting a divorce. They're saying that this woman by the name of Morgan Wade, who's a country singer, may have had something to do with it. Their breakup, that Kyle's been hanging out with this Morgan Wade chick, that they got matching tattoos, I believe, of like a heart. They've been spotted out together. Kyle was denying that, she wasn't trying to hide herself being around this girl, that they've been kind of seeing each other for years. And Mauricio is not bothered by it, probably because he was busy out here hunching all these other women. So they show like even after all the drama that's been happening with Mauricio and Kyle's still been hanging out with Morgan Wade. She's 54 and Morgan Wade is 28. I even heard, I saw a TikTok video of Morgan's ex-girlfriend was going in and letting him talk about how Kyle, in so many words, took her girlfriend, or her girlfriend left her for Kyle Richards. And Teddy Mellencamp's been hanging out with her too. And speaking of Teddy Mellencamp, the fans was going in on her fake ass because she refuses to speak about Kyle Richards' divorce. And I know why y'all would say, well, why the hell is Teddy Mellencamp having to speak out about Kyle Richards, who's her BFF? She got fired from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills like 2 or 3 seasons ago. So why the hell is she having to talk? And they call her a hypocrite because if you have a podcast called Two Trollops in a Pod with Tamra from OC, Orange County, and the way you treated Denise Richards during the whole Brittany Glanville said that she ate her box, and then you participated in attacking LVP after her brother's death, but then you have the absolute gall to sit up here and you want to get selective in who you go in and let have on because Kyle is your friend. But I'm sure the shoe was on the other foot. Kyle would not hesitate to treat you like shit or to throw you under the bus like she did her own damn sister Kathy and some of the other people before her. And so on the podcast, she said that she will not discuss the one topic people actually want her to talk about. She said, we have one more housewife headline for you guys. I'm sure are expecting me to cover. Enter every listener who is breathless with anticipation over Teddy's following words. She said, clearly, I have a lot of anxiety. I've gotten a lot of messages since I've been gone. I've been on vacation. I just want to say that we came up with the decision, myself, Tamara, iHeart, my producers, that everybody has their boundaries and this is mine. Oh, so you have boundaries when it comes to her. Because she says, Kyle and Mauricio and their kids are my family. She loves them so much. She understands what her job is on the podcast. And it's to go down all the rabbit holes. But you can't go down the rabbit hole of Kyle. But you knew Denise. You knew LVP. You knew all these people. And you didn't hesitate to go down the rabbit hole with them. But when it comes to Kyle Richards, you can't speak out on your friend. Get the fuck out of here. That's why I never liked Teddy fake ass. Never liked her. I'm glad her ass was taken off the show. The bitch was a boy any damn way. So a Twitter user wrote, that is hypocritical. You talk about everyone else in your podcast, and you talk about personal knowledge as long as it gives you ratings and makes you and your friends look good. You have said some personal mess up stuff about people, but now you draw a line in the sand, fire her. Another shared, it's one thing to be faithful to one of your best friends. It's another to not do your job. If you can't do your job, step aside for someone that will. And you want to know something? This is something that I learned from Wendy Williams. And we're going to talk about her later on the show. If you've been saying a pop-up side of the show, you know we're going to be talking about Wendy Williams. But one of the things about Wendy that I actually have to say that I liked about what she said and I took from her, you have a choice. You either be of the people or you be of the entertainment industry. You can't do both. So you want to sit and kiss these celebrity asses and be like, I can't talk about them because they're my friend. If you're going to do that, then you're not going to have a good show. So Wendy made a decision. I'm just not going to be friends with a lot of these celebrities because unfortunately, this is part of the gig. If you are my friend and your tea ends up in the news, I got to talk about it. I got to give my opinion. I can't sit up in here and just be fake and be like, well, I can't say no because that's my friend and I have an obligation. sometimes hard decisions are going to have to be made. And if you can't do that, then this is not the industry for you. Because quiet as kept, I'm sure that Teddy couldn't do a whole podcast by herself. That's why she had to get a co-host. So I never listened to her show. I bet you I probably know people that do, but she ain't interested enough for me to listen to her podcast. I'm sure we was doing Drinks and Drag. I would have asked Remy, because I know Remy does all the housewives stuff. I'm sure he listens to the podcast. But if he doesn't, I'd be shocked. So now they're to wrap this up. The main report that's coming out now is that cameras have started rolling for season 13 again of the Real Housewives. They wrapped up in May, the end of May, but now they start up cameras again so they can capture the recent divorce from Kyle and Mauricio. Now, according to Deadline, Richards and Umansky have acknowledged they have had a rough year in their marriage and assured fans that they're not divorcing. I call bullshit or whatever, but we'll go along and pretending like they're not getting a divorce, which they are. In regards to the news that came out about us today, any claims regarding us divorcing are untrue. And that's the statement that they posted on their Instagram. However, yes, we have had a rough year. Blah, blah, blah. And this is when they were asking for privacy. Y'all know I already went in my rant about that, and I call bullshit. Y'all not getting no damn privacy when you have a whole reality show that's supposed to tell all your damn business. But they said that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 13 is expected to start airing before the end of the year on Bravo, and that they are going to start up. I don't know if they started up already, but they're set to start. Say that 10 times fast. They're set to start additional pickups because they want to capture all this on it. And you know what? I have to say, I was not that interested in even watching the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills this season because I'm like, Lisa Rinna's gone. She was problematic. They got rid of crazy ass racist sex trafficker, allegedly, Diana Jenkins, who was a horrible addition to this damn show. We had all the drama that was going on where y'all was out here bullying Garcelle's son, the racist bots and all that other stuff, the troll farm, all that craziness. It was a crazy year. So I was like, where could we possibly go? Everybody's going to be eating lollipops and walking on rainbows and singing Kumbaya and all that crap. So I was wondering where we were going to go with that. And apparently, I don't know. I was kind of on the fence about this season. I was like, I need to see a trailer to even know if this is going to be a good season or not. I don't care about Erica Jane's residency. I don't care about, whatever. I don't even know what would have it entailed. But now, because of this drama between Kyle and her marriage and her over trying to act like she Mary Poppins, perfect in every way, I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this with this new season, because usually it always airs around the end of the year anyway. So, I'll definitely keep my eyes peeled and plugged and all that good stuff on this story, because the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, ain't going nowhere. But they may not be going anywhere, but we are. We about to take ourselves a good old break, champ. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Wendy Williams. We got some tea about her son denying that he stole $100K. He's going to let us know what he actually used the money for. Wendy Williams' ex-husband is being sued over a credit card debt. We got some tea on Tori spelling. Have the mighty have fallen. Britney Spears upcoming memoir, and we got some drag race news that is going to be coming up as well. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after this short little gay break with more hot topics on this second episode of our brand new show, podcast, and all that in one. Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Okay. So don't go nowhere. Y'all go get yourself a snack, go take a piss, do all that good stuff. my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
You, Miranda. Kiki, I just want to give you your flowers. You are a boss ass girl.
You are
amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Kiki.
I remember you on your show for Disney Channel, and then they were like, "We got Kiki Palmer." I was like, "Oh yeah, y'all got another black girl on the network," and you blew the heck up. And I am so proud of you from when you were hosting that BET. Remember the reboot
Just
show,
Kiki.
and I remember I went out for it. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. Oh, you're talking about the game.
No. This was a long time ago, Kiki. It was a reboot of another show that was on BET a long time ago where people came and talked or whatever. Anyway, normally, when somebody else gets a job that I'm out for, I'm like, God damn it. But when you got it, I'm like, immediately, yes. She deserves it. Like everything you do.
I know why she got it.
I know exactly. Yeah. I know why she got it, and I'm not mad at it. Everything you do, I am so proud of you at every single moment, and I cannot wait to see the Oprah that you step on in order to get to where. I'm sorry.
Take that wig off when he gets to that jailhouse, bitch. Listen. Hold on, let me, cause they play young, so they gonna turn my radio off in the back. Bitch. Listen. What the fuck is y'all gonna get that nigga? Y'all better get that nigga some blowhole, cause he gonna need that shit, cause bitch, that nigga, or somebody better go down there, somebody better go down there and sew that shit in, cause he gonna need some motherfucker. He gonna need that shit sold down. Hold on. Legger, it's Christmas. What we get Tori later? We get him some blowhole. We gotta get that nigga some blowhole, cause they gonna take that wig off soon as he get in the motherfucking population. That wig got to go. Cause I'm one of them hoes. They took my wig when I got to jail. So what's gonna happen with that nigga? I told you.
Stop right now, because none of us forwarded them text messages back in 2008. Remember that shit that it was like, forward this message or you will have 20 years of bad luck.
My opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Welcome back to the show, y'all. Yeah, hope y'all enjoyed a little commercial break. I was busy checking messages while it was playing because I was like, "Oh, let's see what's it doing on social media." But wasn't that Honey from the House of Balenciaga that was in the voguing clip? Shout out to her because she's currently on tour on the U.S. leg of the Beyonce Renaissance tour, and I want to give a shout out to Kevin Aviance, who I saw the clips on his Instagram where he was crying. He said that he got invited by Beyonce to go see her last night. I don't remember where she played. I think it was in, I don't know. I have to look it up. All the time I don't know where the ladies they were, but I know it's somewhere close to where we at. He was invited to see Beyonce. He was in a good section too. He was like close to the stage. So we showed like 2 videos. Beyonce pointed to him. She saw him in the audience, and then there was a part during Break My Soul, the Madonna remix. The Vogue, the one where they do the Aretha, that whole line. And Kevin said, and then you saw Beyonce mouth, "I love you." And then Miss Mama started crying, ball of energy. She's like, "Oh, bitch, acknowledge me." So that's a full circle moment because it's like when you get sampled by Beyonce, who Jasmine Sullivan says like the closest thing we had to Michael Jackson. That's what she said. I don't make the news, I report it. But when you say, I could definitely understand, like, I'd be, welled up with emotion because, if Beyonce samples some of my music, I'd be feeling the same way. Or any big icon. So I hope Beyonce, I hope he got to meet her because that would have probably been even crazier. I don't know. I always feel weird, like, me personally, I don't know if I would ever want to meet my idols because I don't want to be, they always say you may end up disappointed. But I'm sure, like, when it comes to Beyonce, she's not going to be mean when it comes to meeting people. But anyway, let's get back to the show. I just wanted to give a shout out to one of our LGBTQ icons. All right, so let's talk about Wendy Williams. How you doing? I always gotta do that every time we talk about Wendy. But first, we got 2 Kevins we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about Kevin Jr. first, and then we'll get into her no good ass ex-husband, Kelvin. So Kevin Hunter Jr. is hitting back at claims that he stole $100K from his mother, Wendy Williams. How you doing? And this is according to The Sun. They always got Wendy Williams tea. So the 22-year-old college student said that his use of Wendy's Amex card was first brought up as an issue in guardianship court after Wells Fargo petitioned to have the Guardian take over the TV staffer's affairs. In court, they brought up the American Express situation. They made this a much bigger issue. When she was here in Florida, the Amex card was our only source of paying for things, he claimed. Wells Fargo has frozen the 58-year-old star's accounts in January of 2022, among allegations that she was of unsound mind. The Amex was the only source of paying for things after that, especially when it came to doctor's appointments and private planes to get her to and from appointments in New York. I had to look for ways to transport her. If we had to get an appointment up there in New York, we would have to book a private plane. If we had to make a certain appointment down here, we had to book it on the Amex, Wendy's son explained. Kevin Jr. says that while his mother was in his care in Florida from late 2021 until the spring of 2022, he insisted her health improve before she returned to work. He claimed he believed that Wendy's manager at the time, Bernie Young, and her financial advisor for Wells Fargo wanted him to return the star to New York City to get her back to work. Kevin said of the advisor Bernie's insistence, Wendy returned to New York. They knew that in having her here in Florida, they were losing a lot of their earnings. Having her here in an environment where the number one priority isn't being at the Wendy Williams show or to be at certain appointments or whatever, they were more annoyed by the fact that they didn't have the control that they have had over her all these years from my perspective. Because when she's in New York, it's a lot easier to pull her around in certain places and have her isolated away from her family so that she doesn't have any other influences to make choices that are for her health and not for financial benefit. Wendy's only son also admitted that using the Star's American Express card was never an issue before the guardianship hearings, saying, quote, I have always used the Amex, always, before everything that happened. Ever since I was young, starting in the 6th grade, she always allowed me access to a credit card, whether it was for an emergency or because I wanted something. And what she would do was that she would read her credit card statement at the end of the month, and I never took advantage of it. It was never something that she would ever say it was inconvenient or anything like that. It was always something she wanted to do because she wanted me to enjoy certain access to things. As her son, Kevin said of what was normal for him growing up in a wealthy household. He claimed that he believed once people in her orbit who were employed by Wendy saw how serious he was about her health, that that is when issues rose about his involvement. Once everyone else got involved and saw who I am in all of this, and that I was very serious about keeping her in a state of healing, and that I wasn't going to take a certain amount of money to bring her back to New York, I said, listen, I appreciate that offer, but once I made that clear that I was very serious, then I became about certain evidence being brought against me, and transactions were brought against me to make it seem like I was taking advantage of her American Express account. The reality of the situation was that I had never had a reason to go behind her back to buy something that I would want. If anything, she'd offer to get things, and I would say, Mom, that's a lot. I don't post on Instagram. I don't care about those things. I don't care about being flashy. But when it came to the Amex, they were like, look how much he uses Mom's Amex, and saying I was taking advantage of her and using it for my own interactions or intentions, sorry. And that was not the case. He also talked about, while the fact that while she was locked out of her Wells Fargo accounts and was in his care, he was also locked out of the accounts that were embarked for his college needs, saying that they have also locked me out of my school accounts. So anything that I would normally be able to pay for on my own through my school accounts, they had locked me out of. So we had to use the Amex to get through. When he was placed in guardianship at the Wells Fargo frozen bank accounts, as they suspected the star was a victim of financial exploitation, dementia, and undue influence. So Kevin went on to say, it's been really sad what's been allowed to happen. And ever since the court hearings ended, something just has to be brought to light about what's going on and how much people are taking in this situation. In terms of who is there now, people have put other things in front of her actually healing and getting better. And unfortunately, unlike many other alcoholics, she is worth a lot more money. He also hit out at Sabrina Morrissey, who is Wendy's guardian, and how she's handling his mother and her lack of communication with the star's family. And he said that he doesn't think Sabrina's doing a great job. And based on her actions, you have to assume that something is going on that she's not telling him. So they're really vague with updates. He's not knowing what's going on. I feel, for Lil Kev, because I know in so many ways he's been painted. They've painted him with this picture that he's taking advantage of his mother, that he's a user, this, that, and the third. And I've never really thought that was the case. I always wonder, what was his play in this whole situation? But someone who is in their early 20s, that's a lot of a burden to be putting on someone who is worth a lot of money. You have a lot of vultures and a lot of people who will take advantage of, the talent and milk them until they can no longer be milked. And we've seen this story play out so many times with other talents. And it's unfortunate this is what Wendy's dealing with. And she has a lot of people surrounding her who don't have her best interest at heart. And when you're young and someone like her son, what can you do? Who can you trust? I mean, I don't know if a conservatorship would be a good idea, because we've seen on the strength of Britney how that turned out. So I don't know. It's just a sad thing that Lil Kev is dealing with. I know a lot of people, why is he talking to the media? Why is he talking to the press? Probably because he has no other outlet. Who else can he talk to? Who else can he get to be on his side? So sometimes I guess the only thing you can do, and I'm not saying it's the right thing, that you have to jump and speak to the media, the son, the go-to. Seems the whole family got the son on speed dial. So I don't know what he could do in this situation, because I've never been in this situation. If there's anybody out there who's watching this video and if you're a lawyer or you're any kind of that world where you understand what could someone do in that particular situation, a financial advisor, whatever the case is, how Lil Kev can help get his mother out of the situation. Even if she's even aware of what she has, I don't know how she would even be able to get a hold of this situation, like paperwork, whatever the case is. If she could be of sound mind and sign off on stuff without alerting the people that Kevin says is bad news, like the Sabrinas and the Ricks, the Will Selbys, because the other Bernie ain't around no more. So now it's Will Selby and Sabrina, who's the guardian. Like, when you're trying to get around all these other people who he's saying is taking advantage of his mother, what could he possibly do to help her in this situation? Because she doesn't have control of her assets. She has somebody who does have control of her assets who's not being forthcoming with the child of the client, so that way he knows. So you can't go to big cat because this greedy ass trying to get his hands on Wendy money. So I don't know. I don't have the answers, but hopefully those of you out there, because when I post this, later on all the other streaming platforms, the TikToks and the YouTubes and all, I mean, it's already on YouTube, but when I post the clips of it other places, I don't know what he could possibly do. But if there's anybody out there who have that knowledge, definitely drop it down in the comments, because I definitely want to hear what you guys got to say. So let's get into this tea about Wendy's ex-husband, who is being sued for allegedly refusing to pay his credit card bill. Now, shout out to Radar Online for this tea. According to court documents obtained by Radar Online, UBS Bank, I said USB. UBS Bank filed a civil lawsuit against Kevin, aka Kelvin Hunter, on June 26th. A Florida court. Look at production, actually put Kelvin. Because that's what we call them in these streets. In the lawsuit, UBS said Kelvin applied for a Visa signature card in 2014. The bank said Kevin breached a deal by failing to make the required payments. As of March 28, 2023, UBS said Kelvin owed $20,176.83 plus attorney fees. Defendant has failed to make the minimum monthly payments by the payment due date as required by the card member agreement, the suit read. UBS said it notified Kelvin on January 23rd and March 1st, 2023 of his default. Despite UBS Bank's demand, defendant has failed and refuses to pay the outstanding account balance, the bank alleged. The suit demands that Kelvin pay the entire $20,000 owed plus additional costs. The address listed on the credit card paperwork is where Kelvin and his ex-partner, Sharina Hudson, live. Kelvin was accused of having an affair with Sharina while married to Wendy. The alleged mistress pregnancy allegedly led to Wendy filing for divorce. Ain't alleged, that is the reason. The lawsuit comes as Kelvin suffered a setback in his fight for alimony payments from Wendy. As previously reported, the entertainer has been in a battle over her fortune for years, as we previously reported. And look, Kelvin backed up on bills. He can barely pay his own rent or mortgage payment, whatever the case. He can't pay the bills on where he's currently living. Word on the street, we reported a couple of weeks ago that his mistress, Sharina, of 15 plus years, left him because the well done ran dry. There's no more money for her to suck out of Wendy Williams and live off of through this man. So there's that. So I don't know. I just see this is like karma unfolding. Kelvin did all that shit to Wendy all of years, and now that you no longer have access to her money, you're starting to see his little house of lies crumble. So I don't feel bad for him at all. Let's move on. Because I was like, what else can I bring to that? Now, this is actually a sad moment. Somebody who, we're going from Kelvin falling from grace to Tori Spelling, who really fell from grace. Because word on the street is that Tori Spelling has gone from growing up in a mansion worth $165 million to allegedly staying at a $100 a night hotel in LA with her 5 children following her separation from her husband, Dean McDermott. I said hotel, it's actually a motel. So this is according to Radar Online. I've seen the pictures, so it is true, child. The 50-year-old actress was photographed walking down the roadside motel stairs on Saturday. She was later accompanied by her children, 16-year-old Liam, 15-year-old Stella, 11-year-old Hattie. Hattie, that's such an old lady. That's like an old plantation name. 10-year-old Finn and 6-year-old Bo, with one of them rolling a suitcase. In the photos obtained by Daily Mail, Tori looked somber as she held onto her kids' hands and walked through the parking lot. Tori, who famously only inherited $800K from her dad's estimated $600 million fortune, showcased her post-breakup body in a black crop t-shirt, making it impossible to miss her six-pack. Well, I will say this. Tori looks great. Her body's on point. Child, she has so much work done on that face. I don't even know who I'm looking at anymore. I don't know if I'm looking at the girl from White, one of the Wayans from White Chicks, but the body is sickening. She was wearing blue pants, sneakers, and a black crop top, exposing her abs. Now, despite the cheap stay, her kids seem to be in good spirits. The motel life seemed like an interesting move considering Tori was caught arriving at her friend's house with luggage and her children in June, days after Dean moved boxes into a storage unit. As Radar Online previously reported, Tori and Dean have been toying with the D word since 2020, with sources close to the couple telling us that the end of their marriage was imminent. Dean confirmed their split in a lengthy Instagram post before abruptly deleting the message. It is with great sadness and a very, very heavy heart that after 18 years together and 5 amazing children that Tori Spelling and I have decided to go our separate ways and start a new journey of our own. This is what he posted last month on Instagram. We will continue to work together as loving parents and guide and love our children through this difficult time. Despite bizarrely deleting the announcement, which I don't know why, but they said because Tori didn't want it up there, sources share that Dean's serious about ending their marriage, saying he took down the post because Tori didn't want him to keep it up. They revealed the time, but he's packing his bags and is 100% serious about the divorce. The separation comes as no surprise, as Radar Online said that Tori was preparing to file for divorce last year, with sources telling us that the marriage had telling them, not us, because I don't work for Radar Online, had been on the rocks for a while, and Dean's addiction to intimacy was wearing thin. Stating Tori and Dean have been done for about 3 months. To their credit, they really tried, but Dean's sex addiction became too much for Tori. He absolutely did not cheat. He just wants sex all the time. And you know what? I hear the same tea about Teresa Giudice and her new man, Louis, where he wants sex 4 times a day. And when you get to be a certain age, yeah, your sex drive might be going cray-cray and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But when you're a woman, women don't want to get they coochie and they back dug out multiple times a day. You gotta let the vagina take a break. Should be sore. Think how some of these bottoms be feeling when they be taking these, they go to picture them at the motel. When you got these porn stars, what's his name? Fat Rabbit Killer, dingling that size, drilling these little boys in their booty hole. How do you think they feel with all that? You need a couple of days. There was one I was watching where this girl said that she was doing porn. She said she had to, let her vagina rest the weekend because it hurt so damn much. Because of how it was getting drilled. So, sometimes you gotta get a coochie a break. I get it. And, women always been wanting to satisfy the man, don't want to disappoint him because they're afraid that, if I don't give it to him, then somebody else will. But if you got a high sex drive, I don't know. Maybe, I guess masturbation gets a little boring after a while. Sex toys, you get a little tired of that. And I don't know. But I guess when you ain't working that much, you got time to fuck. But the real question I want to know is, where the hell is Candy? How the hell do you live in a house worth $600 million, or your husband had a fortune worth $600 million, the famous Aaron Spelling, who created a lot of the shows that was before my time, but I'm aware of 90210, Beverly Hills 90210, not the remake on the CW. That was the one I watched. Wasn't as good, but I did see the old episodes with Luke Perry and all of them back in the day, and Shannon Doherty. And he created Charmed. He created so many great shows back in those days. Did he do? I think he did Dynasty too. So Aaron Spelling's, worth a lot of money. $600 million fortune. The daughter was given less than $1 million in his will. I wonder how much the brother got, Randy. And where's Candy, the grandmother? You just gonna let your daughter suffer with the 5 kids and how to take care of the family? I know Tori and Candy have always had like this real rocky, tumultuous relationship, but to me, I don't know. I don't know if I would leave my kids like suffering like that. I'd have a little bit of a heart and help them out. But if there's some issues where your daughter's problematic, and maybe you just don't like the husband that she was married to, you thought he was opportunistic or whatever the case was, maybe Candy's giving tough love, but still, ma'am, it's a little heartless, I would think. So shout out to Tori Spelling. I'm sure you'll get through this, but it's kind of sad, like how you came from this period of like living in this huge mansion and being surrounded by all this wealth to literally just living paycheck, like staying in a cheap motel. Andy, get on one of the housewives. Help a sister out. Should you be so quick to get Kim Zolciak tired ass on TV? We don't want to see that bitch. But I do want to see Tori Spelling. They did have a reality show at one point, Tori and Dean. I never watched it, but I know it existed. All right, good luck to you, Tori. Let's get into Britney Spears. So we finally have a release date for her upcoming, highly anticipated memoir, "The Woman in Me," which isn't that a Shania Twain song? I believe it is. I remember one of my friends, Kobe Cole, who's a singer. Shout out to him. He said, "I had a woman in me once." I cackled. He's gay, by the way. But yes, he said he had a woman in him once. Okay, so according to Variety, "The Woman in Me" will be published by Gallery Books, an imprint of Simon and Schuster, according to people who first reported the news. Britney's compelling testimony in open court shook the world, changed laws, and showed her inspiring strength and bravery, Jennifer Bergstrom, Gallery Books senior vice president and publisher, told the publication. "I have no doubt her memoir will have a similar impact and will be the publishing event of the year. We couldn't be more proud to help her share her story at last. The interesting part will be when the book comes out, will she be mentally able to do a press tour? Because reporters, in my opinion, will have a lot of questions that she's going to have to answer." So that was basically how I feel about it. When the book tour happens, is she going to be able to do, a book tour for, the book? I don't know. Britney Spears has been on some weird situations lately. And I don't know. I kind of, while I feel for her, on the other hand, I'm just like, she's just a little too fragile for me. Like, I even took some time to think about the thing we did last week when we covered her getting smacked upside the head by one of the basketball players' security guards. And she went and followed that up, because we didn't talk about this part, because this happened after we went off air. She talked about she feel like she's owed an apology for being smacked upside the head. And that got me to thinking. I'm like, okay, so now Britney, I feel like you fall a little bit into Karen territory, because number one, how you expect an apology from somebody putting their hands on you when, number one, the way you was running up on him, I got to look at the video way better. The clip that we had last week, it was hard to see what the hell was going on. So I couldn't really make out what was going on in the clip. But I did look at the clip after we filmed the show, last week's episode. And when I watched it, I'm like, first of all, you should have people to kind of go and facilitate that situation. "Hi, how are you? I work for Britney Spears. She would like to meet you," and shake your hand and get a picture or whatever the case is. She run up on him behind him. Give me. First of all, and you seen the hair. The hair looked like the tracks was all disheveled. The hair, Britney be looking a mess. Out there with raccoon eyeliner. Like she did it in the dark. She was wearing her jeans tucked in cowboy boots or whatever, or boots with a crop top. And it's like, girl, are you stuck in the 90s in like middle America? She dresses very trailer trash, and that's no shade. I'm just saying. She kind of gives off that stereotypical look. Hair disheveled, you can kind of see the tracks where her hair began and the track began. The hair ends and the track begins. You can see that in her head. And then you run up on somebody and tapping them in the back. That boy is worth a lot of money. He's a person of color. And yeah, so people got to be careful, because look, quiet as it's kept. We know how I get when y'all see these black athletes, and a lot of you white girls like run up on these black men trying to get him in the room. You want to poke a hole in a condom and get a little mixed baby out of him. That's no shade. I'm just saying. So she, you know, I felt like in a way she was wrong for doing that. But yeah, the security was being aggressive, but the security was doing what the security is supposed to do. It's like, ma'am, we don't know you. You shouldn't be rolling up on him. And so, you know, we in an era now where people are acting real funny out in these streets. You got people throwing shit at performers while they performing on stage. You got people running up. Look, John Lennon was killed in front of his damn apartment building by a fan back in the day, in the 80s, I believe. So you got to be careful out here with these stalkers. Andrea Evans, who, you know, played Tina Lord on One Life to Live, may she rest in peace. She just died the other day. She left doing One Life to Live because she had a stalker that was in the lobby of the building and where they shot One Life to Live in Manhattan. So you never know who people are when they come up on you. And I know a lot of people expect people to know who Britney Spears is. Not everybody. First of all, he's like under Gen Z. He's like early 20s. Not everybody knows who Britney Spears is. And Britney these days don't even look like Britney back in the day. Hence why when you saw the book cover, they used the old picture of her. That picture looked like it's from the Stronger Days. Album number 2. Oops, I Did It Again. That's what that picture looked like from the Oops, I Did It Again era. Britney don't look like that now. And that's no shade. We're talking real facts. Look, the show is called Unfiltered. So regarding the book, from what I got on social media, it said it will have 288 pages. Only 288? I guess it's not a lot you're going to be talking about. But anyway, it says it will be released simultaneously in 16 different languages on October 24th. It will also have an audio CD version. It will have a strict promotional plan on TV as per contract with Simon and Schuster. It will cover her most vulnerable moments, her childhood being a little girl with big dreams, her stardom in the music industry, her breakup with Justin Timberlake, her divorce with K-Fed, her dark times in 2007, and the moment she shaved her head and her battle with her family over her 13-year conservatorship. Well, I'm sure that should all be like, that sounds about 288 pages worth of tea. And I'm here for it, child. So, you know, with all the stuff I said aside, I am really excited to read this book. You know, I can't do a post without throwing some shit up in there. We're like, well, damn, the way you put it, but it's kind of facts. I was thinking it, but you know, now that you said it, I kind of see it. Well, that's why I changed the name of the show to Chris Avalon Unfiltered. So good luck to you, Britney. I'm definitely looking forward to reading this book. It seems like my fall is going to be booked and busy. We got Troye Sivan got a new album coming out. Kylie Minogue got a new album coming out. Madonna is going to be going on tour in 2024. Like, this is a lot. And Britney got a new book coming out. I don't know if I want to listen to it or if I'm going to read it. I might just read the book. And then, you know, if it's slow at work and stuff, I'll just be, you know, sitting there reading that Britney book. But anyway, so we got 2 more topics and then we are going to wrap up this show. So we got some tea on We're Here. It's been renewed for a 4th season. And when the new season premieres, it's gonna look a little bit different. So RuPaul's Drag Race alums Bob the Drag Queen, Shangela, and Eureka, who led the show's first 3 seasons with 2 Emmy victories, will not be returning for the new season. Details for the change have yet to be revealed. Now, shout out to Entertainment Weekly for this story. First debuting in 2020, We're Here charted the trio's journey across small-town America as they stopped in various conservative regions to give residents empowering makeovers and a slot in a one-night-only drag extravaganza. But in late 2022, Daniel McGarrigle, a former assistant on the series, accused Shangela of raping him in a hotel room in February 2020, an allegation the Dancing with the Stars alum denied after McGarrigle filed a lawsuit against the drag entertainer. And my thing is, I was too slow on that damn article because on the opportunity, because Dan McGarrigle did hit me up and wanted to do an interview, and I was kind of like being a little hesitant because I was like, fuck, I'm worrying about the possible backlash. But sometimes, look, if people gonna tell a story, I cannot sit and be like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to jump on that because I'm worried about what other people think. Y'all can say what the fuck y'all want to say because y'all say what y'all want to say anyway. But next time, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna put it out there and say what needs to be said. And I'm gonna leave it up to y'all. Y'all can come up to your own conclusion. But I'm gonna give the space for someone to next time be able to tell their side of the story. Now, if Shangela want to come on and tell her side, she can do it too. Now, in a statement to EW in May, Shangela, also known as Darius Jeremy DJ Pierce, said that he was disgusted by the claims made against him by McGarrigle, saying they are personally offensive and perpetuate damaging stereotypes that are harmful not only to me, but also to my entire community, the statement read. An external investigation into the embittered individual's claims previously concluded that they were not completely without merit. This newest filing is nothing more than an attempt to shake down both me and a well-regarded television company. No one should be fooled. It has no basis, in fact, a law, and it will not succeed. Well, you may say that, but yesterday I saw Chandler's name was trending on social media after the whole thing came out with "We're Here" and the whole announcement. And I saw this was back in May when McGarrigle filed his suit. What happened was I saw people were sitting there talking about that they do believe. I saw quite a few people there say they believe the allegations and that they know people who what McGarrigle said happened to them, Shangela allegedly did to them as well. That when Shangela gets a little couple of drinks up in her, she don't know how to act. She does certain things, and they felt like because y'all like Shangela, and because Shangela perpetuates a certain image of herself on TV, which a lot of famous people do, there are a lot of people who are one way on camera, and when the cameras go off, you see the real them. I have been around enough celebrities to know how this shit works. And work behind the scenes on many projects where when the cameras is rolling, everybody's, copacetic. They're the best performer they could possibly be. But when them cameras are there, the most vile, disgusting fucking assholes that I've ever encountered. Just saying. Can't believe everything you see. Because what you see isn't always the truth, in the words of Tatiana. Since we quoting Drag Race girls. So, yeah, I saw there was a couple of people in there that would say, oh, because y'all like Shangela, y'all don't want to believe the allegations. And sometimes I need to just take the time, listen to people's story, and if it sounds far-fetched, because I went through it when I posted my first video on TikTok, people was coming for me, and I noticed the TikTok that I made about the story with Daniel and Shangela started getting views again, because I got a couple of likes when I checked my TikTok yesterday. So it's cyclical. It's like every time the story pops up, more people go and look at the video. So now that the three are no longer part of the show, I guess you could read the lower third because it pretty much gives away who's going to be the new host. So we got Jada Essence Hall, Sasha Velour, and Priyanka are going to be replacing our previous hosts, Eureka, Bob, and Shangela. And a lot of people were wondering, was because of what happened with the allegations against Shangela, did that have something to do with her not being a part of the show? And we know Bob is, in a kind of a standstill right now because of the whole supposed to be touring with Madonna. But we don't know when Madonna's going to begin rehearsals. And I guess Bob can go off and do other things in the meantime. Eureka, I don't know what's going on, why she's not coming back. But I actually like Sasha Velour. I love Sasha Velour and her nightgowns show that she does out here in New York. Jada, look over there, Hall. I live for her. And, I love the fact that Priyanka, who won season 1 of Canada's Drag Race, she's getting all this attention and accolades now. She was just at Rocco's viewing party last week. She was the lip sync assassin in last week's episode of Drag Race. And when she met Rue for the first time and performed in front of her, because Rue does not host the Canada version. Brooklyn Heights does. So and now she's going to be doing We're Here. So it'll be great to see where they go with this. And I do believe I have in the article where they said they're going to be doing with the show. So Sasha, Jada, and Priyanka are going to continue to spread love and connect with small-town Americans through the art of drag. This season will focus on 2 U.S. towns over the course of 6 episodes, taking an in-depth and more imminent look at the local political systems and participants, anti-LGBTQ plus legislation, and opposition with their effect on the LGBTQ plus community. Quote, with the ongoing aggression towards the LGBTQ plus community and the increased hostility directed at drag performance, it's more important than ever for another season of We're Here, said Nina Rosenstein, HBO's executive vice president of late night and specials programming. Time and time again, the series has shown that love is stronger than hate, and we want to continue to uplift the community by showcasing these rich and important stories. We owe a huge thank you to Bob, Shangela, and Eureka for sharing their personal stories and for their incredible contribution over the last 3 seasons. We're also excited to welcome our 3 new queens to the We're Here family and dive into our new season. Now, they said that in this increasingly hostile political climate, we are grateful for HBO and their decision to telling LGBTQ plus stories that meet the moment and document our history, said Ingram and Warren. We are thrilled to expand our drag family and give much needed love to the people on the front lines of hate. Bob the Drag Queen, Shangela, and Eureka O'Hara had this to say in a joint statement, saying that we are extremely grateful for the opportunity we have had the past 3 seasons to travel across the country, share our experiences, and connect with all of the courageous individuals who entrusted us with their stories. Our journey has inspired hope and sparked important conversations while empowering unique voices and opening new doors. As we move forward with our exciting individual projects, we welcome Sasha Velour, Priyanka, and Jada Essence Hall, and wish them the best on continuing this work during an increasingly difficult time for the LGBTQ plus community. Well, you know what? I love We're Here. I didn't really watch this current season because I felt like a lot of times it just be too, like, you have to really get yourself in a certain mindset to watch We're Here, because sometimes it gets a little too serious, it gets sad and somber, and sometimes I be in my feelings when I watch the show. So I'm definitely excited to see where they go with this new season and seeing how people like Sasha Velour, who's very smart in the way she does drag, and she is political in her ways, and how the other girls are going to handle, doing this show and bringing their own flair to We're Here. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And yes, we definitely need more drag representation on TV, especially in this current climate where, LGBTQ people are being harmed at a high rate, and the increased hostility. Now, speaking of increased hostility directed at drag performers, let's get into this final story. So, Drag Race Halloween Envy Peru revealed on social media that she was violently attacked by a group of young men on a bus in Amsterdam. I do remember that picture. That was for the one we did on the whole Shangela story that we did, which got a lot of numbers, by the way. Now, Envy called the incident a wake-up call that we still have a long way to go in the LGBTQIA plus community before recounting the moment that she was that she was attacked in broad daylight by 4 young men while on the bus in the Netherlands capital city. They threatened me with a weapon while making offensive slurs towards me and filming it. Let me read what her whole Instagram basically said so we could give you guys an idea of what she said that happened to her. I don't know why I wanted to call Envy Peru Coco Peru so bad. That's another drag queen, legendary drag queen. Today, I got a wake-up call that we still have a long way to go. I was attacked in broad daylight by 4 young men while on the bus in Amsterdam. They threatened me with a weapon while making offensive slurs towards me and filming it. Even when I tried to distance myself from the situation by moving away, they continued and kept trying to hit me. As I tried to get away, what shocked me the most was that only one sweet lady stood up for me in a whole bus full of people. When the bus finally got to my stop at Central Station, I sensed the boys following me. Then one of them ran towards me and kicked me to the floor. 4 women stood up for me and scared the boys away and escorted me to where I needed to go. I don't know their names because I was in shock, but if one of them might read this, thank you so much, with a heart emoji right next to the much. Besides the shock, I'm doing okay. I was hesitant to follow reports since I'm a person in the public eye, but as a proud member of our community and Pride ambassador, I can't be silent. These hate attacks need to stop. I know a lot of our community members stay silent when violence happens towards them because of fear. But I decided I'm going to go to the police and I will show them the footage I took of the incident. Nobody should go through this, and these cowardly actions should be punished. And I know a lot of people were just shocked that this was something that happened in Amsterdam. I'm like, the hate is everywhere. Like, nobody's exempt from the smoke. Envy said that she Now, in response to Envy's post, several Drag Race franchise alums commented with messages of support, including All Stars 4 Queen and Drag Race Mexico co-host Valentina, Season 5 icon Alyssa Edwards, Season 3 star Alexis Mateo, perennial competitor Juju B, and current All Stars 8 finalist Candy Muse. So, I love you. I am so sorry this happened to you, Candy commented. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I love you so much, and I'm happy you're safe now. I wish I could give you the biggest hug, Juju B wrote. RuPaul's Drag Race UK winner and All Star 7 contestant. Let's not forget, this happened long ago, and I just reported something on this. All Star 7 contestant, the Vivian. Remember back in June, she said that she too was a victim of a homophobic assault in the UK. The international attacks on Envy and Vivian came amid an uptick in anti-LGBTQIA plus legislation in the US, which has impacted everything from public filming of HBO's queer-themed drag makeover series We're Here to drag performers in Tennessee who face a controversial bill impacting public drag shows and trans people. Hey, look over there, a classic distraction technique distracting us away from the real issues that they were voted into office to focus on: jobs, healthcare, keeping our children safe from harm at their own school. This is what Emmy-winning RuPaul's Drag Race host RuPaul said in March in response to conservative pushback to queer people, urging followers to donate to production company World of Wonder and the ACLU's Drag Defense Fund. We know that bullies are incompetent at solving real issues. They look for easy targets so they can give the impression of being effective. They think our love, our light, our laughter, and our joy are signs of weakness, but they are wrong because that is our strength. Drag queens are the Marines of the queer movement. Don't get it twisted and don't be distracted. Register to vote so we can get these stunt queens out of office and put some smart people with real solutions into government. And my thing is, look, we got to be cautious. We got to be vigilant on these damn streets. These damn people are lost their fucking mind. And with all these politicians trying to use us as a distraction, drag queens are coming to take away, coming to corrupt your kids, and trans people using the bathrooms. They're in there trying to molest your daughter under the stall and all kinds of other stuff. We just want to live our lives, want y'all to leave us the fuck alone, and we just want to see ourselves represented in a positive light in TV and movies and this, that, and the third. But y'all the ones that got a problem because y'all got deep-rooted issues y'all need to work out. And now, because queer people are more visible in media, we're seeing a rise in hate crimes, especially when you got these politicians pushing this ridiculous legislation to distract you from all the other stuff they're trying to take advantage of and get rid of. So all this is a smokescreen. They play into your fears and your hate, so that way they ain't got to deal with the real issues in this country, which is guns and all that other stuff. And let's not forget also Cakes the Killer, out rapper, who was like one of my favorite rappers, revealed on his social media on July 8th. He said, I was gay bashed this year and I gagged. Legit had to fight off 3 dudes in the Netherlands the last time I was. What hurt most was how my own community made light of it all. If I didn't fight back, shit could have went left. Would it have been a key then? So I'm glad that Cakes is safe. I think he's back in New York right now, but this is the craziness that we got to deal with in this world. So y'all got to be safe out there in the street. Take a karate class, carry a hammer in your purse, do what you need to do, and fuck a motherfucker up if they get in your way and they get up in your face. So shout out to Envy Peru and all the queens out there who, just stay safe and continue to be ourselves, because that's all we can do at this point. So on that note, we are at the end of our show. Second episode down on Chris Avalon Unfiltered. So thank you all for tuning into the live show. Tune in next week for a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I won't be doing a show on Saturday because I will be out of town. But we'll commiserate back again next week with a brand new episode of, a lot of hot topics, maybe some politics. People might be releasing stuff I can talk about. This writer strike and this actor strike. We'll definitely be keeping tabs on this thing and letting you know what's going on with that. So on that note, I love you all for watching and supporting this show. Please like, subscribe, and do all that good stuff down below. Leave your comments. Let me know what you like about the show and all that good stuff. And yeah, so until next time, ciao, darlings. That me.